We have Don't Open the Door, Five Nights at Freddy's World soundtrack. Does it say who it's by? By Leon Riskin. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I am a professionally trained musician, and I aim to explain what is happening here musically in a way that you don't need to be a professionally trained musician to understand. This is going to go up on YouTube, so if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for being here. Make sure you're subscribed and that you are following the channel and liking the video, sharing the video, all that good stuff. Join the Discord, etc. And fair warning, this was recorded live on stream, so there's going to be a lot of pausing because this is the first time I hear this, and I'm just going to be pointing things out as I pick them up as we listen to. So, with that being said, let's do this. Don't open the door. Let's hear it. Okay. We're 4 seconds in. I'll catch up with the chat after this. Different topic. So, we start with another sense of threes. This one feels like either a 3/8, 6/8, maybe even 12/8. We have this dance-like feeling. Bum, 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 bum. This thumbnail is a lot. Yeah, it seems like it's a it's a lot of color. I'm not very familiar with Five Nights at Freddy's other than like surface level stuff. But what we had very importantly here was we have some percussion, and we have what sounds like a woodwind instrument at the top playing the motif. We start with the motif. The motif, of course, being the smallest version of your musical idea, the seed from where everything else comes from. Let me hear that again. And the start had a bass. And we have some like glitchy sounds. It sounds like malfunctioning machinery doing a little bit of rhythmic counterpoint to the regulars thing. It's a little bit spooky. Yeah, it has a lot of very, very small, like there's static, there's glitches, there's all this kind of stuff, which is very on theme for this. So yeah, we have this drum. It's almost like a drowned out snare. It's a very, very interesting way of doing, because it sounds both like the oh shit, I forgot the name of this instrument. What it sounds like between a snare and one of these, the ones that have like the little cymbals, and it's the tambourine, I think it's called. Is it tambourine? Yes, a tambourine. So it sounds between a snare and a tambourine, and it's giving this sense of somewhere in the middle. Usually a snare is not used to do what is called a downbeat. Downbeat being the start of every bar, or the middle point, or the point in which the beat falls into. Usually the snare is there for more upbeats, in between kind of thing, to define kind of like the middle point or something like that. So this being kind of like between a kick drum and a snare drum and a tambourine gives it this very odd, kind of uncomfortable feeling of this doesn't quite fit here. It works musically over here, it works, but it's giving you that sense of unnatural, of this is not supposed to be here. Let's hear it. Okay, and we're getting, and yes, we are also having, I just noticed on the right ear, we're also getting these very distant sounds, like howls from a very, very, very far away, like hollow noises. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here for something so relatively straightforward. So, okay, so we have now a change. We are introducing a synth doing a counterpoint to the original motif. Let's see. We're modulating, very nice, changing chords. And we're also introducing, at the start, that thing that sounded like machinery. Now we have it as the sound of static in a CRT monitor kind of thing. Fairly interesting, the transition over here to add these extra layers, doing something similar but not exactly. And as I said, we have that initial flute-like woodwind, this synth that has a lot of echo doing one line and the other one doing, and now this new keyboard synth doing what is called counterpoint. It's a very simple counterpoint, almost like call and response, various thing. Sierra, welcome to today. How you doing? Happy Monday. Which in music, when you have counterpoint, it's the idea of having two or more melodies that can work by themselves, independent melodies that work well together. There's a thing called species counterpoint on how many notes in response to one another you can have. And it seems right now that with this whole thing, there's like this quasi call and response happening in the counterpoint, with the original synth having this new one taking over, doing this. The original synth does a little bit, then the new one does a little bit more, and they're going back and forth with that. Let's continue hearing. Take away. Okay, there we go. So now we take away that new synth that we just had, and now we introduce a proper kick drum. Very, very faint, very, very subtle, but now the snare / tambourine is having a more snare / tambourine like effect. It has kind of fallen into place more to where we would expect it to be, but now there are less elements, things have been taken away. So it's almost like this has happened at a price, at a cost. I like it. I like the whole everything is kind of happening at a distance, like you're watching from afar. Oh, another synth, kind of like an organ at the top. Oh, I love this. So what is happening here is effectively another flying melody. That's how I call them. We are having a fairly busy middle ground, and we're having and basses and everything. And now with this organ coming in, it's almost like it's flying. And this is working because despite the initial synth being higher in melody, it's fading in and out so much that it kind of plays as if it's the rest of the ensemble in the middle and the low. So now these chords are kind of keeping everything very simple, very nice and slow, and they are flying above the rest. It's very, very nice. And the motif is very beautiful. Motif is very beautiful. And we're building the cadence. Okay, so right now, what I'm seeing is that we've been having what is structurally, I would call, I think structurally what we're having here is a rondo. A rondo is a structure of music in which you go around. The rondo means to go around. So we started with section A. We had a little bit of an intro to build up a little bit the section A with the initial synth and everything. Then we had section B when we brought in that second synth for contrast. Then we came back to section A with what is called A prime. Whenever you do prime, it just means there's some sort of slight variation. In this case, it was that organ at the top. And now we are going to C. We're going to another contrasting phrase, and we are doing these A, B, A, C, A, D, all of these things, and it's such a good, it's a tricky structure to have because you need to build up so that everything cadences nicely into one another, but it's working, and the fact that it's having like this dance-like, and each section keeps getting more and more complex. Like you can see the drums here. Like here the drums are getting a little bit more complicated. Every single repeat. Every single section the drums are getting more and more complicated. And we're having another recall to Section B. Okay, so it might be an ABA-B. Because this is just a recall to Section B. And? No, it's completely new. It's a completely new. Not entirely. So this is another variation of A. So we are doing a variation of the rondo here. So instead of going A, B, A, C, A, D, A, whatever, we are going A, B, A prime, B prime, A, double prime. Because now what we did for this new section is that synth that was up above is now being played by the organ in a lower angle, but musically it is still the same. Chances are we're gonna have the outro, or we're gonna go to B double prime. Let's hear it. We're doing for the outro. Yep, there you go. Outro. And now we're having this. The synth is now an octave lower. Things have kind of landed, dying down. And there you go. And there you go. And then it ends. This was really fun. This was a really, really fun listen. Very simple. Very simple. I like how relatively few elements so many of these Five Nights at Freddy's tracks use, because this was not even 10 layers of music. Like, you had a couple of extra sound effects here and there. Epic horror, I would say it's spooky. It's not horror music. It's definitely not horror music, but it does have that spooky element to it. I like that. It does have that off-putting element to it. Like, I've done my rant about Five Nights at Freddy's. I did not upload it to YouTube. I have it ready to upload. I just haven't uploaded it. But basically, it goes to show how you can have spooky music and all that good stuff. I'm just checking. Is this urgent? No, it is not. Okay, so you can have these moments, these pieces of music that are nice and spooky. They have these off-putting elements, and it's simple but effective. It goes off, and it keeps in mind its target audience. Don't forget, I consider Five Nights at Freddy's to be horror for children. It's very well crafted in that sense, and this helps build to that. It's made for the Halloween world on the game. So there you go. Like, it even has that. And the thing is, with Halloween, especially when it comes to children, you don't want a child to experience horror on Halloween. You want a child to experience spooky on Halloween. So that's why most of the time, most Halloween-themed tracks, music, or everything is more leaning on spooky rather than horror. And there's a very, very big difference between those two, because horror is meant for you to experience fear, and spooky is for you to experience a light version of fear, something that won't traumatize you, kind of thing. And I really appreciate how Five Nights at Freddy's manages to do this so well. Because just because something is made for children does not mean it's automatically a lesser product. Something like that. And I think Five Nights at Freddy's is a very good example of that. They have a massive fandom for a very, very good reason, and I think it's very well merited. And the music reflects upon that, and reflects it very, very well. But yeah, there you have it. That was Don't Open the Door, Five Nights at Freddy's World, composed by Leon Riskin from the Five Nights at Freddy's World soundtrack. Really good stuff. I enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. Once again, this is going to go up on YouTube, and we are recording this live. So if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord. And if you want to request a song and you're not watching this on the live stream, just leave a comment with what track from what game you want, video game music only, and we'll get to it on our next live stream that we do. So yeah, very good stuff. Don't Open the Door, Five Nights at Freddy's Door. Very, very good stuff. But yeah, let's move on.